All right,
Hello.
we're live. Hello, hello.
It says one person watching.
One person, that's it.
Are you hate watching, darling?
Don't be a hater.
Don't be a hater.
I mean, we should give it a few minutes for people to come in. I see
Yeah.
two. I'm gonna probably show Elizabeth on camera while I reweight her. Just for something to look at,
All right.
you know.
Whoop.
What's happening?
I'm sending the link to a friend of mine.
Okay. I need that there. Right there. I need Fantasy Reborn Lover. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
How are ya? We're gonna get on topic here soon. We're just waiting for some people to stream in. And I'm gonna be re-waiting Elizabeth, my little mini me. I was gonna get her summer body and I procrastinated too much. So now I might as well keep her winter body. I'm good. How are you guys? I'm okay. Thanks,
I'm
thanks.
good. It's spooky season, so I'm fantastic.
Whoop, whoop. Elizabeth, you got creepy. I'm just saying. Oh my gosh, you boys got my little baby. Okay. I think I'm going to. I'm gonna try and set up my new little. They had a desktop um, tripod at what did I do with it? At Dollar Tree. So I got it to try it out, and it's not too bad actually.
Man, I remember when I first started in this hobby and I didn't have any of that fancy stuff. I had like a chair and I had the phone precariously positioned in the back, like a wooden chair,
Yeah,
and it was leaning on my foot, that whole deal.
yeah.
That was my tripod.
This one's actually pretty cool. It's pretty. I was kind of skeptical because it's Dollar Tree, but it actually not too bad. Not too bad.
Lacey's laughing in the comments. They're all gonna laugh at you.
I know. I used to position mine all weird. Am I gonna be able to plug that
I
in?
need to get like a proper desk area so I can show my face.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna show your face?
I was thinking about it. Yeah. What do you think? Too
Oh
scary?
wow! I think it'd be great.
Teresa knows why I can't. My house is a disaster right now because they're ripping up my floors in the kitchen. Oh my gosh. See, Lacey knows what I'm talking about. She said I use my glue bottle to hold up my phone.
Right?
That's what you have to do sometimes to get the shot that you want or whatever. 3 people in here.
Sorry, I'm searching for an extension cord. Should we start discussion or should we wait a little bit longer?
I don't know. Let's wait one more minute. All right, I just sent you a text, Teresa.
Okay.
The only thing I don't care for about StreamYard is, unless I'm doing it totally wrong. Let me see. Comments? Does it show up over here? It does. Okay, never mind. I was going to whine, but I was having to use my phone last time to see the comments, but they're in there. I can see them now. Yay.
Okay. Sorry.
All right.
Got it. We'll figure it out. It'll just be so smooth. Like the more we do it.
See, it lets me, okay, so I can see comments, but it doesn't let me leave a comment that way. So I'd still, if I wanted to write something out, I'd still have to go through YouTube, which is weird.
I don't even think I can do that. I don't think I can leave a comment either. Post a comment. Yeah, I can.
I think that posted across the bottom, doesn't it?
Let's see. I'll put something.
This is just a test stream, everyone.
Let's see what this does.
Boop. Oh.
At the very bottom, there's like a 3 dots and a more. And I clicked on that.
Just for you, I think. It's fine.
Let's see. Yeah, I was looking to see if there was something in there I could. Okay. Put all my stuff together here. Right there. Poor Elizabeth. Poor little Elizabeth.
Are you going to turn on your camera over there?
Heck no.
Okay. Well, do you want to start?
Yeah, I will eventually. I'm still kind of getting things together here. I was going to, because I'm going to relate Elizabeth. See, we probably have to start really doing these on your channel because I don't think I have a big enough audience for this. I mean, there was like 100 and something people that rewatched it.
Right. It's just, I think it's a timing thing.
I
You
mean,
know?
I figured 7 o'clock though. I mean, unless we need to go later, I don't know. You guys let us know. Like, do we need to be earlier? Do we need to go later than 7?
Hello.
Hello, lighthearted life and collectibles. How are you? Let's talk about fakes, baby.
I just want to say, we talked about this a little bit before we decided to do this. This is not like going out in support of any one person or attacking any one person or anything like that. It's just talking about how this affects us, how our choices affect us, I guess, in this community, and the reality of what that looks like. She left me again. Rude.
I'm still here. I'm outside smoking on the vapors. I figured you didn't want to hear up in the
Oh.
up in the mic. So Fantasy Reborn Lover. This is a good time for you then. Just bought an RV. Been doing some things. Oh, cool. Just bought an RV. Okay, that's good. So Fantasy Reborn Lover says that around this time is good for her.
Okay.
Because it's 8 o'clock where she is. So that's good. That's good. It's vintage. Oh, cool.
That's fun.
A vintage RV. That's awesome. I'm glad that you said that. That, put out that first part.
Hello. Teresa's Reborn Dolls and More. 2 Teresas.
Hey, I love your name. Only you don't spell yours the way I do. Hello there. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's important everybody knows that, we're not, it's just more of a factual thing, not, going after somebody or whatever. So, you want to start, Spooky?
No, go ahead.
No, really, you.
All I was really wanting people to know that are especially new to this community is there's this debate over the Amazon/Wish, whatever, counterfeit, fake, replica, whatever people want to call them, not purchased from legitimate websites like McPherson's, Irresistibles, Bountiful Baby, and all the others. There's this argument that, to me, I don't really care about this argument, but there's this argument back and forth about whether these replicas, quote unquote fakes, counterfeits, are legal or illegal. There's a lot of fighting that goes on about that. For me, it's a moral issue. It's an issue of morality. Like, it's not right to steal something and then sell it. And I think if your kid's artwork or your loved one or your spouse or whatever's artwork was being taken and resold, I think these people that are championing this might have a different take on it. If that was your spouse's sculpt, for example, or your mom or your brother or whatever, right? The point is, whether it's legal or not illegal doesn't really matter to me because it's morally wrong. And whether they're getting through some legal loophole is not really my concern and not my deciding factor on whether or not I would buy one. It's that it's not right. And in addition to that, I think what people new to this hobby need to understand that's kind of getting buried is whether someone thinks it's fair or not fair, the reality of the situation is if you buy one of these replica slash fake slash counterfeit, illegal, whatever, there's a potential that you might get blacklisted, a very real potential that you might get blacklisted from sites like McPherson's, sites like Irresistibles, Trueborns. We've seen what happened with Kabelka. They were, for those of you who don't know, they were setting up to be a stand-in for Genesis Paint because Genesis has left the building. Genesis left the chat, right? So because they had supported fakes in the past, all of the distributors were like, no, I don't want anything to do with that. And I think collectors need to understand that that can happen to you too. And like I said, the argument of whether people feel that that's fair or not fair, it is the reality of the situation. This is one of those, it is what it is situations. And so I think it's irresponsible for those people that are buying these Amazon, Wish, whatever dolls to not say that. You know, they're saying, oh, it's fine. And the people who don't support it are bullies and whatever. And I think there's some people being intentionally cantankerous and buying these dolls because they don't like certain people who are standing on the side of no fakes. But the reality is a collector or an artist is putting themselves at risk when they take that position. This is not about, I don't like this person or that person. This could get you in real hot water with these companies that you might want to buy kits from. You might want to buy glass beads from. You might want to buy, anything from, zip ties, whatever. And I think it's doing new collectors and new people to this hobby a disservice not to tell them, hey, you might get blacklisted if you buy one of these dolls. I'm making that choice. If that's not me personally, but if you're out there and you're buying those dolls and you're making that choice, then you say, I'm making that choice. I'm understanding the risk, because there is a risk. And they've been pretty clear. The sculptors, this whole Kabelka thing, it's pretty clear that that's a real possibility. And I'm not buying fakes for my own reasons, but I also would caution people to consider that as a reason not to buy them, because it's a very real thing. Yeah. I saw Kabelka made a video a week ago about Trueborns saying they weren't going to have it. The next day after I made my video, Trueborns announced they wouldn't sell the paints. Yeah. So it's Kabelka was an unfortunate situation because I think people were very excited about it, but it's been made very clear. They made it an example of them in a way to show that it's not going to be tolerated. And I think that is going to extend to collectors. Some of the people behind these companies, the distributors, have spoken out and said, hey, if I see you championing, I can't talk tonight, for these fakes, I'm going to share that with my friends, and they're going to do whatever they want to do with that information. And they have the right to not sell to whoever they want. So, like I said, whether you think it's fair or not, the reality is if you buy one of these or support the sale and distribution of these fakes, you might get blacklisted. And that's something I think is not being communicated in this whole conflict. You over there?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I flip it around. Sorry. Give me a minute.
Okay, so Lighthearted Life and Collectibles says, I totally get why people aren't selling the Kabelka in their company. Trueborn said it was up to the individual whether they buy the paints, but will someone buy a doll painted with that paint? It could come to that. Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. I think there are going to be people who are anti-Kabelka. I didn't have the best experience with the limited little bit of Kabelka that I used, which was the thinning medium. So I probably wouldn't anyways. But the woman the woman who runs that company was not just, she didn't just accidentally buy a replica and paint it. She was trying to get other artists to paint replicas, one a month is my understanding, to sort of show the sculptors you're charging too much money. It was sort of a protest. And there's arguments whether it was 2 years ago or 2 months ago, however long ago it was. She didn't seem to be very apologetic about it until companies started saying, "Hey, I don't want anything to do with this." So, unfortunately, it now has a bad reputation. I don't know if that will stick forever. It seems like she's come out now and said she's very sorry and she understands the gravity of the situation. And so I don't know. I mean, I don't, it's hard for me to judge the sincerity level there, especially since English is not her first language. So there's some context missing in some of her communication, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll blow over. There's another company called Alva and Go, which Kabelka has publicly accused of taking their formula. So there's that. But that's another company of heat set paint. But the point is really, there's a very real possibility of getting blacklisted if you're buying anything that has to do with supporting fakes. And it's not really about, am I breaking the law by buying these dolls or whatever. It's not really about that. I think most people need to understand, yes, you can buy and do whatever you like, but in this community, there are consequences for that. There could potentially be consequences for that. And it's come down to, they're really watching everybody and what everybody's doing. And I think if you're not aware of that as a collector and as a person in this community, you're really being very naive. I mean, they are watching who we support and who we don't. And it could be a dicey situation. You know, even if you don't, let's say you don't care about stolen art and all that stuff, it still could affect you personally is the point that I'm trying to make. And I think a lot of people that are out there saying buy whatever you want are not communicating that you're doing that with a risk of being blocked. What you think over there?
I think I finally got it worked out.
Okay, good.
I had to, well, the desktop one wouldn't work. So then I had to go get the other one and set that up. And then I had to go back and mess with my camera settings so then it would show her. Yeah, it's all a learning thing. No, I agree with what you're saying. I do, totally. I think, I think they're all watching and they're seeing who we're buying from and who we're supporting. And sometimes it gets to be a bit much. I was accused of having a shop remain nameless. Wow. That's crazy. Well, and I think that also, we need to inform people that are new to the community how to get a cheaper version of a real reborn. Like how, how they can afford a real one and not go to the fakes and that sort of thing.
She says, I did a short video to the song Too Legit to Quit, showing my Maddie with his COA. And that's where it gets to me kind of insane is I've got almost 100 dolls and not all of them have COAs just because they didn't come with COAs. Like I have a Lulu by Jen Printy from Bountiful Baby that's from 2012 and she doesn't have a COA. I mean, it's things like that. This didn't used to be, I guess, so prevalent. It didn't used to be such a big deal to not have the COA. I think a lot of people now buying kits, like you were just talking to me about this today, Teresa, about, was it Coco Malou or something?
Yeah.
It didn't used to be such a big deal to not have the COA because let's face it, they do get lost. I mean, they're pieces of paper. We've got maybe our receipts or can pull up our account from McPherson's or Irresistibles or whatever, but it starts to, like she said, it starts to be a bit much when you're having to pull out the COA just to show your doll on YouTube.
Right.
So there's that side of it as well.
Yeah, because I saw somebody that was selling a Cocomaloo, and for some reason I was thinking it was a limited edition. But I went on Google and I found it on Irresistibles, and I went in and it actually said on there that the sculptor is, what did it say? Something like not releasing COAs.
Yeah.
And that Irresistibles would give you a certificate, just a general one stating that it's authentic.
It's just that you bought an authenticate from their website, but it's because it doesn't say which one, it's not really.
Yeah. So you would get something that says it, but you wouldn't get a COA like like the other ones. So then, you're not going to have an original COA. You're going to have those type of certificates.
I've seen some box openings because there's a lot of them out there now of, like I said, dolls from Wish, dolls from Amazon. I've seen some horror stories, and there was actually a news article about someone who bought what they received was like an 8-inch doll, so very tiny, but it had a full Saskia head. Just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And I mean, that's another risk you're taking when you buy those is you could get anything in the mail. I mean, you could get something crazy in the mail. And if you look up people who were scammed, I mean,
yeah,
that's what you see. But I mean, it's when you're buying something that's already stolen, you're buying something from someone with questionable morals already. So they're not going to think twice about ripping you off. It's very risky, I think, to be buying these dolls that are these fakes. And I think for lots of reasons. And I think people get lucky sometimes and they get a decent looking doll that's the proper size or whatever. But still, when I'm looking at those, it's like I've got some Paradise Galleries dolls, particularly that Oh Baby by Ping Lao, the AA sculpt. It's presented as a boy. I have mine as a girl, but it's so adorable.
I'm getting ready to get that one.
It's so awesome. Like, so when I'm looking at the things that come from like Amazon and Wish, and they have they look like a Paradise Galleries doll. And so I'm thinking, why don't you just buy a Paradise Galleries doll and save yourself the, potential to get blocked everywhere? Even if, like I said, you don't care about the theft of, the sculpts and whatever. Put all that aside, why wouldn't you just get a Paradise Galleries doll?
I don't understand why you wouldn't just buy the sculpt and then save the money to have it done.
Right.
If you
That's what I used to have to do. I mean, I was broke as a joke when I started in this community. I mean, I was doing payment plans. I was saving money.
well, I still do that.
I was doing what I had to do. I mean,
well, that's what I mean. Like, I mean, if you're wanting a brand new one, then why wouldn't you just go buy the sculpt and then save the money to have it done? Or buy pre-loved, or buy, why take the chance to buy something cheap? I guess that's what I'm confused about is why. If you're wanting a cheap reborn, I mean, my first couple reborns, they were rough. they were rough. You can go down to the bottom of my channel and check it out. The first one I drove 2 hours to get her. Her hair was a hot mess. I don't even know what she was painted with, but I drove 2 hours to get her. And the reason I drove so far is because the lady that was selling them, she had a whole bunch of them, and she was selling them to get money to get a handicap accessible van for her daughter. And so I drove all the way there, definitely overpaid, but it was worth it. It was worth it because it was going to a good cause, and I was able to get my first reborn immediately. And then I gave it to somebody else who couldn't afford one. And then I got a bit of an upgrade. And then I gave that to somebody who couldn't get one. And, then I entered a giveaway and I won a baby on a giveaway. And I gave that to my niece. And you know what I mean? So my first several, that's what I did. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think you trade up. It's like any other hobby.
Yeah. So that's why I don't understand the wanting to do that, to buy. You're taking money away from the sculptors, you're taking money away from the artists. And there's a lot of new artists that are really good that are reasonably priced. And most of the time they'll do a layaway.
I think the folks that are so happy to buy the counterfeit dolls, I think that they should take a stroll down the Walmart aisle or the Target aisle and ask themselves, is that what I want to have? Because if all the sculptors walk away or they decide I'm not making any money anymore, that's what will happen. Because here's what I think people are not understanding. And I'm not out here trying to attack anybody at all. But this is not an assembly line product where, you stick the head on, you stick the legs on, you send it out. Reborns are an art form. So the sculptor you have to be in a reasonably good mindset to make this art, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if you've got sculptors out there that are seeing their artwork being stolen and sold and replicated badly, and they're seeing all these collectors not caring that that's happening, I would think, I'm not a sculptor, but I am an artist of various types, and I would think that would be very difficult to start new projects in that kind of mindset because it's upsetting. And like I said, anyone who doesn't understand that, imagine your child or niece or nephew or sister or husband, wife, whatever, has created something, some art piece, and now it's being replicated and sold and potentially made with toxic materials and just all kinds of, mess. Imagine that. You're not going to be in a very good mood. I was telling you, Teresa, my my husband is an artist. He paints on canvas, and he had a DeviantArt profile. He's had it for years and years and years. And he's got this painting of a tree. He calls it Tree of Life. It's this very cool. It's got purple and blue sky, and it's very pretty, and it's all, I don't know, kind of pagan looking with the gnarled up tree. It's real pretty. But he painted that ages ago, and it happens to be on his DeviantArt, a photo of it. So I was looking up tapestries to use for backgrounds for my reborn photo shoots, and up pops this tapestry of his tree. It's from his DeviantArt profile that someone has stuck on a tapestry, and like the immediate rage that I had, it was like that gif where the fire shoots out the guy's head. I was so angry that someone would just take something that someone I care very deeply for had created. And I don't know. I don't think until that happens to you or happens to someone you care about, you can imagine how angry. And that was just me seeing it on a website. I wasn't seeing the person selling it. I wasn't seeing a person on YouTube showing it and saying, see, it's fine. It's cool. You should get one. I can't even imagine. Like, that was very non-personal generic rage, but I can't imagine seeing it pop up on YouTube on this channel and that channel and everybody saying, oh, look, it's fine.
Right.
I would be very upset.
Oh, yeah.
And so from that very limited experience, I can understand, at least to a small degree, how upsetting this must be. And it probably would, I think, if it were me, if I was a sculptor, I think I would sort of lose hope and sort of feel like nobody cares and why am I doing this? And, there's so many emotions involved in art. Like I said, this is not a production line product. It takes something out of you when you create something like that. And I think the sculptors are very disheartened, and I don't want to paint Walmart dolls.
Yeah.
I want to paint these baby dolls from Target. I have no interest. Okay, I love my Laura Lee Eagles and my Bonnie Brown and my I love my. I'm trying to think of other sculptors because I have tons of them. All the fantasy sculpts that are coming out. Like, are you kidding? This is
Full ones.
an amazing time to be a regular reborn collector, let alone a fantasy collector. So I don't want to see that happen.
But yeah, why wouldn't you want an authentic reborn painted by a community member? With I don't know. Yeah, that's what I want.
So this has happened in the BJD community. Yeah, I've heard about that. One thing I've learned is being mean doesn't change anyone's mind. Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely, I agree with that.
It's not for the better anyway.
Right, and I think that's sort of what's happening is I think people who can afford legitimate dolls and do have predominantly legitimate dolls are frustrated, and they're saying, okay, well, you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want. And I'm a very stubborn person, so I understand that, but at the same time, it's not doing anybody any good to do that.
Right.
And like I said in the beginning, it's leading new people to our hobby because new people join every day. It's leading new people to think, oh, I can do this, and the most I'm going to have to worry about is a couple people on YouTube don't like me. That's not the case.
Yeah. It's more. There's more to it than that.
Yeah.
Way more.
If anything, it drives them to buy more fakes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, if you can afford a real reborn by an artist, and you're buying, fakes just to piss some people off, I mean, is it worth it?
I think it's not worth it. I think you're potentially shooting yourself in the foot there.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, I don't have any fakes. I never intend to buy any fakes.
I mean, either.
I will probably be shying away from people and their channels if I see that kind of stuff going on, because I'll just be real with you. I don't want to log on to McPherson's and get blocked. You know what I mean? I don't paint all the time, but I don't want to go on to buy, like I just got the Krampus kit. I don't want to log on to buy that I've been waiting for, and it says you're blocked. I will not do anything to chance that happening.
Yeah.
And I think it's only fair to tell people that's potentially what you're looking at. She says if you shun or ban people who buy legit, but talk to people who have fakes, it's not going to solve anything. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. But like I said, we're not looking at it as, is this fair or not fair? This is what could potentially happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is silly because, like I said, these businesses have the right to do that, and they certainly have to support the sculptors. The sculptors are the predominant part of their business. They don't want to do anything to offend them, and they want to do the morally right thing as a company, which I respect. As far as banning people who aren't buying fakes but are talking to people who buy fakes, it's a dicey situation, and it's not a situation for my own potentially selfish reasons. I don't want to be in that position. So if I see that, I'm just going to back off, and it's not because I hate anybody. I love this hobby. I've been in this hobby over 10 years, and I'm not looking to do anything that's going to jeopardize that. Period.
I mean, I'm not going to block people. I definitely won't be commenting on their box openings or anything like that that has something like that. I have no interest in that.
She says if you ban a legit buyer, isn't that defeating the purpose? Yeah, I mean, I think if someone has purchased, because there's a lot of people, and this used to happen a lot when they first started popping up on Amazon, people would buy them for their younger kids or teenagers, and then they would come into the community and say, look, I have this doll, it's a reborn, it's, you know, I love it so much, and people would just beat that person down. And I saw that this was back in like 2014, 2015. They would just beat that person into the ground. That's a fake, and what are you doing? And the person didn't know because, you know, their parent or whatever had bought it for them as a gift and thought it was a reborn because it said reborn in the title, and they didn't know.
Yeah.
And so at that time it was a lot of, well, let's educate these people because they're coming in and they don't know that they've done anything wrong. So in those cases, I understand, you know, you say, look, this isn't the proper way to do things because we don't want to be stealing from other people in our community. We don't want to be stealing from the sculptors, and this is how everything works. This is where these kits come from. This is how they're made. You know, once you explain all that and someone goes on ahead and does it anyways,
Yeah.
or says, well, I've got a whole bunch of legit ones, but I'm just going to buy one just to get under someone's skin.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, and don't use the excuse, well, I, you know, wanted to show every educational purposes.
Yeah, I think we're all fully educated.
Yeah,
Wait.
I don't buy that one either.
I hate to see all of the arguing. I hate to see people get blocked that have never bought a fake. I'd hate to see that happening, but it does concern me, especially if you're going to someone's channel and saying, "Oh, I can't wait to see your fake whatever, whatever kit." It's like, no, man. No.
Yeah, I'm seeing it more and more, and
That's supporting the counterfeit dolls. That's supporting that when you say things like that. I mean, there's just no way around that. And
I have a whole list of things I was gonna talk about it on here, but I probably will make a video just for people that are new to the community and about how, you know, where you can get affordable dolls and reborns that are legit. And so I was going to do it on here, but there's so much. Like, I'm looking at it now and I'm like, wow, there's a lot here. I kind of went on a thing. I don't know.
So Lighthearted Life and Collectibles says, I've seen them tell that person, you can't post that here. That's not a real reborn. And yeah, that used to happen a lot too with the Paradise, with the Ashton Drakes. Actually, I made a video about it years and years back, and so did Laura, Little X Loves, when she was still alive. We had talked about that because there was an artist that came out and said, you can't call that a reborn. I find that personally offensive, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we were like, this is really not a good way to be welcoming to people who, you know, are buying legitimate dolls. They may not be artist painted dolls, but of course we want to welcome them into our community, you know.
Where's our arms window?
Paradise Galleries and Ashton Drake, those are still legitimate dolls.
Yeah, they are. They're cute.
They're very cute. I think they're just as cute as anything that comes off Amazon or Wish, and they don't come with all of the controversy, all of the
That's right. Well,
potential.
Ashton Drake, and it was a gift from my grandmother. She has a heartbeat and she breathes.
Mm-hmm. I had one of those, the breathing Emily.
Yeah, mine was it's the Katie. I still have her. She's I actually need to pull her down, but so when I get Oh Baby, I eventually am gonna get Oh Baby, and that'll be my first Paradise Gallery. I'm so excited, you know, because I have other dolls besides the reborns.
Is there really 14 folks in here and nobody talking? Somebody say something. Jeez. She says new artists are a great way to get reborns cheaper. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And you know, you're also supporting someone that's, you know, new, and the more practice, you know, the better you get. And you never know, that person could end up, you know, being a big time artist.
Oh yeah.
He's snoring. Oh, there's cat fights getting ready to break out, so just fair warning. Just so you know. Okay.
It says I'm listening while I root. That's cool. I'm just listening. I'm old.
Hi, Susie. You guys see Elizabeth? Oh, she's so much better now. My chunky baby. She needed some glass beads. I had run out of glass beads when I put this body on her. So she has glass beads and everything, but like up here. So she's a little heavier now. My little mini me. And see, I when I had her done, she was my custom. She's after a portrait of me when I was little. And I bought her little bits at a time. So like I bought her kit and then I went looking her
Mhm.
glass German glass eyes. So those were not cheap. I bought those another time. I bought, so it took time. It took time to do her, but it was worth it once she was finished. And that's how we should do it, not goofy stuff we're doing now.
Well, and there's a lot of people that say it shouldn't come down to the customer. Why is it on the consumer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And it's because people don't make things that consumers don't buy.
Yep.
If there wasn't a market for it, they wouldn't steal it and replicate it and sell it if somebody wasn't buying it.
Cat
That's
fight.
just the truth.
All right, girls. We're fighting.
Susie says, old enough to not voice an opinion because I might forget why that's my opinion. I do that too. It's ADHD. I start down the road and forget where I'm going with a thought.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways. Like even if you wanted to get a custom, there are a lot of you know artists that will do a layaway with you. You just have to ask. That's right. Bountiful baby sculpts are cheaper. They're always having a sale.
I think, because this is an art form that, like you were saying, you can buy in pieces.
Yeah.
It's not like buying a car where you buy the tires and then you buy the muffler. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you can buy the kit if you really want the kit, buy it before it's sold out.
Hmm.
Then, you can buy each piece, make payments, and
Nala is not a limited edition, but I bought her because then she was here, and that made me feel better that
right.
she was here, even though she wasn't done yet. And she sat here for a little bit because I wanted to find her perfect eyes that matched mine, and so I wanted to take my time, but I wanted her here. And so when she
Right.
was here, even though she wasn't painted, I was like, look at her face. know? Like I was so happy to have her just around, even she wasn't painted. I have tons of I have April and Sunny here that they've been here for well over a year now, and I want to have them done. And I'm just happy that they're here. Like because I don't I'll have $1,000 to do them. So but I have them. They're here, and so you save the money, and you have a legit one done by
Right.
by a good artist, or buy a new one. You never know. Why are her arms look weird? I never know in this one. Maybe it needs to go this way.
Lighthearted Life and Collectibles says, I buy authentic and will always encourage others to do the same. But I want to enjoy my hobby. I don't want to scour the internet and seek out and scold anyone. That's not why I'm here. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel the same.
Yep. I agree.
I just I want new people in the hobby especially to know what they're walking into. And
Yeah.
like I said, they may see, because there's a lot of YouTubers who are buying the Wish dolls and the Amazon dolls, and that's their choice. I'm certainly not going to go over there and tell them what to do. However, I worry that new people to the hobby who don't understand how all this works and why those dolls are a problem and why I just don't want to see anyone get blacklisted and be thinking of what happened. I was just buying the dolls that the other YouTubers are buying. I think if you're going to buy those and advertise them and talk about how that's your position, that's where you stand on the issue, then you need to say, just so you know, if you do this, you might get blocked. You might get, pushback from people. Friends might drop off.
Yeah.
Weeby Dolls, just listening. I appreciate the discussion. I've only ever bought authentic and will only ever buy authentic. Yeah, same.
Thank you, Weeby. I think it's a really important thing. And if and if it is a matter of money, get a pre-loved one. That's where I started. I didn't have a custom for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
reborns.com, if no one's been on there, go on there. They have so many different babies on there. They have silicones. It's the cheaper ones all the way to expensive reborns. There's alternative ones on there. There's clothes on there. It's really a cute little, it's actually a big site.
So Stacy's Rainbow Nursery, it says, I am making legit sculpts for a very decent price because I'm new and I also offer layaway. I have many for sale for $300. So yeah, this is a good example of new artists that are starting out. They want to get their name out there and they want to make dolls. They're enjoying learning everything, and you're not going to have to spend $1,000.
That's right. Yeah, there's so many. And, if people want a list of artists that are newer who offer layaways or artists in general, I can do that research and make a list, help people out.
Yeah, there's it's not new artists. I think it's the Dainty Loft has a list of reputable artists of different people who root and people who make doll bodies and people who paint and people, all that. Susie pre-loved by one of us old ladies. They're like new. Yeah, that's right. Mine are too, because I never do anything with them.
Us all that have been here a long time also.
Sam's channel says the more people / companies who catch wind of this hobby and the huge prices these dolls can fetch, the bigger the situation will get. They jump at the opportunity to offer a less expensive alternative. Yeah, it's true.
Yep.
This is something, the counterfeits and the fakes and all that, this is something that other industries have had to deal with for a long time. And I think people are really, the last several years, starting to realize how much money we spend on these dolls.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, I think it's like, oh, look, they're crazy. And then, oh, crap, they're crazy and they have money.
Yeah, hold up.
Hold on, hit the brakes. I'm going to stop in Crazy Town for a minute.
Yeah. They may be onto something here.
I had seen, because I have been following loosely following the owner of Kabelka on Facebook. And I guess she said she's going to make a website to purchase her paints directly from her since, she's been taken off the list of companies that all these distributors are willing to work with in our community. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think it
is.
Whether she's sorry or not, I think that she definitely understands now that that's not going to be kosher here for the most part.
But look how fast that happened,
But it'll be interesting to see, like someone had brought up before, are the dolls painted now with those paints going to have people not wanting to buy them, even though she has come out and stated, I'm not going to do that anymore, and I'm, see the error of my ways, etc.
That's true.
Susie says, I remember saying I'd never pay $500. I ate those words. Oh, yeah. No, I remember saying, I only need a couple.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at 100. Sam said that's the smartest thing she can do, honestly, the website. The lady from Kabelka making a website. I definitely don't think she will be supporting fakes in the future after this experience.
Yeah.
The owner of Kabelka.
Look how fast that was, though. I mean, it was like 1 minute and bam.
It was like dominoes.
Oh, yeah. But look how fast that news spread. Like,
yeah.
You have to be, you have to think about that when you're buying these things. Everybody see my cute Elizabeth? Oh my gosh.
Susie says, I don't think it will go that far. I hope not. Sorry, guys.
Little mama. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, BB Bountiful Baby said they were coming up with a formula.
I heard that. Sorry, I'm like, I didn't think I'd be this distracted with doing Elizabeth. I thought it would give everybody something to look at instead of our icons.
Right.
And she looks, I mean, who wouldn't want to look at this little face? You see what her thing says? Mommy's mini me. It's a great distraction. Oh my gosh. Look at how sweet it is. I haven't had Elizabeth on in a long time. I was trying to back you guys up a little bit. We need to do so much.
Rainbow Nursery says, it's almost like there's undercover Dolly private investigators in this community. Nothing gets past anyone. I hear things and I'm like, what, when, where? I think it's more people. There's more people paying attention than people on YouTube maybe think. I know it's not one or two people because I've seen it on Facebook. There are a lot of people who feel very passionate about this issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a small group.
Yeah.
I think YouTube, it makes it look a little skewed.
But it is an important topic, and there's more and more people that are making videos and buying fakes. It needs to be addressed. Mama, you have crazy hair. Oh my gosh.
Lighthearted Life and Collectibles says, I just know this hobby has helped me through some horrible times in my life. I'm grateful to the artists for the talent, love, and time they put into their work. That's why I support the originals. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, I look at, Miracle's one of my favorite sculpts, Miracle by Laura Lee Eagles. And I just look at her little face and I'm like, I could never buy a fake. It brings me too much joy to see their little faces. And a lot of my collection is monsters or alternative. And so they have very extreme expressions. And you're just not going to get that
Yeah.
from a Walmart doll or even a 3D scan of a baby. I mean, some of the realborns are really cute, but you're just not going to get the same. It's just not the same as a sculptor. I mean, all the sculpts that I'm really, really love are not scans. They're created by a very talented sculptor, and I don't want to see that disappear. And they've come out and they've asked for our help, and all they've asked us to do is to not buy them and to spread the word as to why the various ways that they're harmful, from whether they're toxic or not, which you can't tell by sniffing it, guys. I'm sorry. You just can't. That's a little bit silly, but they're just asking us to spread the word about why they're harmful.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's a big ask. You know, all the times, like she was saying, you all have helped her through horrible times in her life. I have times where I'm in a lot of pain because I've got health issues, and sometimes just staring at their happy little faces, it helps me beyond what pain medicine and whatever can do. And because of that, I love them. I know they're not real babies, but I love them. They crack me up. I mean, look at her little happy face. You're not going to get a 3D scan of that. That comes from a sculptor.
It's very true. Yeah, you're not.
Susie says YouTube makes it seem crazy. I'm friends with several sculptors. They aren't haters, just hurt over their work being stolen. Yeah.
And I don't blame them.
Like I said, if that was your daughter, son, spouse, sister, brother, cousin, you'd be upset. For the people that can't put themselves in someone else's shoes, you would be upset.
Yeah.
It is upsetting.
Yeah.
And I don't support any kind of bullying or harassment or any of that.
No.
Coming after people. I think that, but I do think businesses are going to do what they're going to do. And we, like I said, we've seen it with Kabelka, and it's probably going to extend to collectors as well. And if I saw, it's no different than Walmart doesn't want you in there if they catch you stealing. You know what I mean? They'll ban you. Businesses can decide to do that. They're absolutely within their rights to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They see you supporting theft, either by buying it yourself or going over and saying, oh, I can't wait to see your stolen sculpt. Yeah, absolutely. They have every right to say, nope, I don't want nothing to do with you. And in their position, I would probably do the same. Honestly. Lighthearted Life and Collectibles says, right, they asked us not to buy them and encourage others to buy authentic as well. They didn't ask us to bully anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, what's going to happen when they stop? If they decide that they're done and they stop sculpting?
Walmart dolls.
But they won't have any to steal. Right?
I mean, yeah, that's the potential.
I mean, that's what we're looking
for. Story.
Yeah, they could get aggravated and just be like, well, this ain't even worth it anymore. And
Or
stop
depressed.
sculpting.
I mean, I think people look at it like it's some kind of revenge thing. Well, I'll stop sculpting. They're, I'm sure, very hurt and upset by it. It's hard to make art when you're hurt and upset. Hey, Wednesday and Gilly. She's here.
Yay! Well, or they make it a limited edition and it makes it even harder to get them. I mean, we don't know. Susie, you're so funny. Look at my pretty girl. Aw, say hello, aunties, uncles. Hello. Hello. Oh my god.
I think the focus is in the wrong place. People are very focused, like I said, on whether it's legal versus illegal. People should be focused on if they don't care about the stolen art. Okay. Hi, Emily.
Hi,
At least care that you are potentially going to be blacklisted in this hobby from every place you would buy anything from.
Yeah, I mean, so you got to decide how important. I don't like that. Man.
Well, and it makes me sad when I see people, and I understand it because I'm a fiery person, okay? But if you're doing something just to antagonize someone else, I think people lose sight of potential consequences of that.
Okay, and I'll leave it up.
Lighthearted says, Ping Lao has been coming out with some beautiful babies. I love her work. I told her that every box opening I have next year will be so-and-so by Ping Lao. She's very talented.
Yeah,
she's the one that did the Oh Baby from Paradise, which I have to tell you guys, I have that one. It's so cute.
I hate that one so bad.
I'm more partial to Paradise galleries because I've had several Ashton Drakes over the years, and man, they like that Photoshop. But Paradise, you get exactly what it says. I mean, exactly what it looks like. That's what you're getting, and they're really cute. That's where I would encourage anyone to start. That's why I put them up on my channel, because I think they're cute. I genuinely love them, and I want people to see this is actually what you're getting. And they're adorable.
Yeah.
Stacy's Rainbow Nursery says, I think it will spill over to the artist creating these reborns. If people are buying fakes and they aren't buying from the artist. So, yeah, it's hurting the sculptor, but it will also hurt the artist.
That's right. There's a lot of people that do these, they paint them for a living.
I am good, Emily. I hope you're good too. How's the new place?
So you guys got to keep that in mind also, is that, that's also taking away from artists that create these beautiful babies for us.
Stardust and Moonlight Reborn says, hey. Hello.
How are you doing, Stardust? Sorry, I was distracted, guys. I really, in my mind, thought I could multitask. Not so much. My bad. Sorry, I left you kind of hanging here. I just wanted to re-wait. I don't think I had enough sleep.
I was down for a controversial chat. Lighthearted says, I think it's important to stay level-headed about this and not turn it into a war of sorts. Yeah, I mean, that's...
Yeah, definitely.
I have no interest in that with anyone.
No. It's not about that. It's about these guys. And just think, every, reborn that an artist does, that's the only one like that. Because you can't
copy paste, yeah.
So every, she's an original anyway. She's super custom done, but there'll never be another one of her.
Yeah.
There'll never be another one. Even if somebody tried to, there's still not going to be another one of her. So there may be people that have the sculpt, but there'll never be another one that looks like this.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're buying, the fakes and the replicas, just know that there's a bunch of other people that have the same one. It looks exactly like that, but only one of these.
I feel like it's a lot of risk that a collector's taking on. They're taking on the risk of whether or not they are in fact toxic. They're taking on the risk of being shunned in this community, not only by other artists and collectors, but by distributors themselves. They're taking on the risk of getting an 8-inch doll with a huge Saskia head on top of it. I mean,
Right.
it's just a whole lot of not worth it to me. It's not worth it. I mean,
you take the risk of that, and then you probably won't get your money back.
Oh, no. One lady was saying that she was the one that was in the news article. She said she sent it back to because of course it didn't look like it did in the photos. You know, it's this tiny little thing with a huge head. She sent it back to the address that was on the box, and they sent it back to her, and PayPal said, sorry, you lost your money.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Can you ban that person, Teresa?
Yeah. Oh, I put him on a timeout, but I meant to block him.
I'm at the gym with my headphones and I just bust out laughing.
Alrighty then. Look at her face. I mean, this is what it's about, guys. It's about these guys. These sweet little authentic babies.
Stardust says the Saskia head with 8-inch body.
You haven't seen one of those yet?
Oh, there's something else.
Yeah, it's something.
I was cracking up.
It's something to see.
They got a couple different versions of that gem out there.
Thank you. This is the Nala sculpt. She's fantastic. She actually has I had a set of arms and a set of arms and legs made for her that are full that I put on her with a different body for the summertime. But these are the original limbs and stuff.
Susie says it's like Fast Eddie selling Tammy Hilfiger watches on the streets of NYC. People walk on by. Tammy Hilfiger. I think people have a wrong idea about this, I think. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that some of the biggest, loudest voices, I don't know how to say nicely what I want to say, so maybe I shouldn't say it. It's unfortunate that people see this as, oh, it's snobbery because these dolls are cheaper. It's not snobbery that they're cheaper. It's that they're harmful to our hobby in various ways, and potentially, like I said, with the toxicity issue, potentially harmful to you, the buyer, if you purchase one. They're harmful. It's not about being in with a popular crowd or not. It's really unfortunate that that's the prevailing mindset when it comes to these dolls. That, oh, certain people are too good for fakes, or they have expensive dolls, so they're snobs, whatever. That's not what it's about.
Yeah, it's totally what it's not about that at all. Lighthearted. I was thinking that too. I was gonna try to find a set of limbs. That's what I do with Elizabeth because she's 3/4 arms and legs, and I wanted her to have for summer outfits and stuff. So she has her summer body and her summer limbs, and then she has the originals. And so then I figured those are like her winter and, fall limbs and body.
I my best friend has that kit. M's from Swanky Booties, Gounchin and Gounchin. I don't know how you say it. Probably just absolutely murdered that pronunciation, but she has that kit, and she said it's because I was like, don't the little like the 1/4 arms bother you? Doesn't it bother you that you can't dress, that doll in the same stuff you can with the others? She said it's really, really cuddly that way, and she doesn't even think about it because it's such a like real feeling doll. So I don't know. I think the 1/4 limbs are not for me, but everybody raves about it.
I have her winter body year round.
Stardust says, I dislike the argument people are having saying, well, some sculptors didn't protect themselves, so it's not technically illegal. It's still wrong, even if that's true. Yeah, that's what I had said in the beginning, is it's not really about the legal issue for me, because certainly there's probably some of these kits that they've snuck through some legal loopholes, but it's still theft. And it's still harmful to our hobby in the same way.
Yep.
Whether it's technically legal or illegal, or whether it can technically be prosecuted based on where these people are at or not. She says that's like saying, because I forgot to lock my door and got robbed, it was my fault. It's all fair game. Yeah. Absolutely. That's why I don't even get into the legal versus illegal argument, because that's not what it's about for me.
Yeah, me either.
I think people don't understand how much money it costs to go after. There's so many of these companies that pop up on Amazon and Wish, and if you can even find them to go after them, that costs money. And I don't think anybody in this hobby has infinite money to go after every new company that pops up and every new,
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
You'd have to decide as a sculptor, as an artist, do I want to drown financially?
Yep.
And be in a constant state of stress and depression over having to constantly fight? Who wants to live that way? It's a matter of ethics, Susie said. Yeah, exactly. It is.
Yep, totally is. Well, they're relying on us to make the right decision.
Right, because the buck stops here. I mean, it really does.
Yeah. It's up to us. So they're saying, if you love my work, then
show me.
Yeah, show me.
Put your money where your mouth is.
That's what I mean. It shouldn't be a matter of, whether you can afford one or not, because there's always other options. And if you don't know the options, then we all need to make videos, not just me. We all need to make videos showing newcomers to the community where you can get without buying from these other places.
Stardust and Moonlight says, and what's sad is we were talking a difference between a fake and a real blank of maybe like $40. My subconscious can't handle that much stress for little savings. Yeah, yep. It's really not, it's not worth it. It's not worth it in so many ways. Susie said, you're getting old, don't know how to say it nice. I'm not here to like piss anybody off. I'm not here to attack anybody on either side of the issue. I'm just, there are very real concerns that I think are getting lost in some of this. The illegal versus legal argument, it's snobby people who can afford things versus people who, struggle a bit more. It's not about any of that. If you strip all of that stuff away, it's about doing what is right and what is going to allow this hobby to continue and flourish versus what is going to cause damage. And it's about, if this was your art, if you sit down and really think about, if this was your sculpt, how would that feel? Sorry, just came in. Tough subject tonight, says Teardrop Rose.
Yeah, I mean, how would you feel if you put your heart and hard work into something,
Your blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah.
and then, the people who say they appreciate it and appreciate, all that you do, and they turn around and don't support you. That ain't cool.
She says, I love these kind of discussions, calm and gentle. I'm always willing to chat with someone who's on the other side. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to be able to talk about this without attacking people on either side, or no
Yeah.
one's going to listen. I mean, that people just shut right off.
Yes, Stacy. Yes, we were actually talking about that earlier.
When you're buying these, by the time you're changing out zip ties, glass beads, stuffing, eyes, eyelashes, maybe even a new body, what's the cost? Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier today.
Yep. Well, and yeah, and then because you've got shipping too for all that stuff, unless you can get it where around where you're at, you've got to pay the shipping on top of that. So you might be spending $40 on a doll, but by the time you put all the stuff on it and in it, and you're really not saving that much.
Sam says, I'm neutral because I'm not invested in the hobby like some of you ladies. I see valid viewpoints to both sides of this issue. Teardrop Rose says, I started reborning back before there was anything other than Behringers. See, I'm glad that you're in here because I can ask you, and how fun was that? Because to me, it doesn't sound very fun. I don't think anyone wants to go back to that. I certainly don't.
No. Yep. Stardust for sure.
It was so hard, she said. Just doing the Behringers. Yeah, I mean, Emily says, I couldn't buy a fake. I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Well, for me, it's not about anything other than the sculpts and the artists.
Yeah, Teardrop Rose says removing all the paint, sanding the head, making your own bodies. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Sam says, these days I do my puzzles. That's my hobby. From that perspective, I wouldn't buy a knockoff / generic because I want consistent quality from a brand I know I can rely on. Yeah.
You're right. I don't know. It might be kind of interesting though. Not gonna lie. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
don't want to paint an 8-inch doll with a Saskia head.
Stop the madness.
Also rooting a rock hard head. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, this hobby's come a long way.
Yeah. Well, and we want them to keep creating beautiful babies for us.
Like I said, most of my favorite kits are by sculptors. I don't actually think I might have a real-born. I might. Is it bad that I don't know? I've just got too many of them. I think I do. I think one of my clowns is, but for the most part, they're all sculpted,
Oh my gosh.
That's harsh, man.
Right? Now that's serious.
That's funny. Good night, Emily. I'm sure she's going to leave it up.
Yeah, I left the last one up. Some of my morning coffee chats I don't leave up, but these type of ones, I want to leave them up because I'm hoping that more people will watch them and get educated and you know
See, Teardrop Rose, you got me feeling like I need one of them OG midnight steal some hair from your child reborn.
right.
I feel like I'm not a real collector because I don't have one of those.
Yeah,
That's some shit, man.
curious right there.
Did you imagine your kid going to school the next day? What happened? My mom put it in a doll's head.
I just woke up and it was gone.
Reborn head is down there.
She
She'll never forget it. She's 31.
oh, that's a story to tell. That's so funny.
See, we don't. I'm not even a newbie, but I didn't experience any of that. We don't even know the struggle. That's the real struggle.
It'll grow back. Old school reborner in the house.
That's awesome.
I love you guys.
That's the real deal, though.
That
What
is
you're
real.
talking about. Like nobody wants to go back to that.
No. There's so many ways to get a nice, authentic reborn for what's in your price range. If I go on reborns.com, there are so many there that I see that are like $800, $1,000. I would love to have. I have to save money for that. It's not something that I have.
Susie says I'd rather take a beating than strip a doll. Yeah, it's rough.
Right?
It's not fun.
Did you see me strip the toddler? Whew.
It's a lot of work.
That was a joke. My arms were hurting so bad. Yeah, for real. That's no fun.
Stardust says never seen art as beautiful as in this hobby. Yeah.
Yep. True that. I'm glad we're having a nice discussion. It's not getting heated or
Right.
I like that. You guys are awesome. Because it doesn't have to be all that.
I was I don't know, I was kind of hoping people would show up and respectfully present a different opinion. I mean, I know Sam's here. She's probably got some different opinions just to kind of, toss stuff around in a nice way.
If somebody is in here that wants to, give a different opinion, go for it.
Lighthearted says, I will always buy authentic reborns, but I will also choose to be kind to people. We can support artists and be kind to everyone. Yes.
Right. Yes.
That needs to be a bumper sticker.
Right.
I will slap that on my car. No one will know what I'm talking about, but.
Right. And that could be any situation, not just reborns.
Yeah. I think there is a middle ground that no one is really seeing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, if you're in here and you want to say something different, go ahead.
Sam said, I'm not necessarily known to always be nice. That used to be me, man. Do you remember that, Teresa?
I do.
When I had a much bigger mouth publicly, anyway. Lighthearted said, when my father passed away in 2019, he had a line of cars literally over a mile long in his funeral procession. He was a kind man, even to people he didn't agree with. Yeah. Stardust and Moonlight, yes, representing with kindness sets the standard. There are so many newbies coming into the hobby. The bickering and aggressiveness is not a good look. Yeah, it's not. I agree. I think about that a lot. I'm like, I don't know if I walked in the door to this party and everybody was throwing food at each other, I'd probably be a little bit like, nope, I'll just back myself
Yeah.
back out, you know?
Oh, never mind.
Never mind.
Yeah, for real. Teardrop Rose. What about silicones on Amazon?
I'm pretty sure those are all fakes. Either way, I do feel bad that people think they need to choose a side or they will be ostracized.
I agree, Stacy. Yeah, I mean, there's several people that I see and they have the fake box openings and stuff. I don't comment. I don't watch. Not gonna. I just scroll past it. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna watch their videos of authentic reborns.
And see, I'm more likely to just back right on out of that and probably not visit that channel again, unfortunately. I don't say a lot on my channel, I think. I think that's gonna be changing. I don't say a lot anymore like I used to, but I really love this hobby or I wouldn't be in it this long. I wouldn't be in it through the things that I've been through in this hobby. I wouldn't be here. So if I see someone posting a fake or and again, if they don't know, that's a whole different issue. But if they know that that's a fake and they bought a fake, I'm probably not going to be over there. That doesn't mean I'm going to harass them or post about them or what, but I'm also not going to engage with them probably.
Yeah, Susie, that's me too.
Yeah, same. And like I said, I think some people are good people, but they get lost in making this a personal issue. It's not a personal issue.
Yep, definitely.
I mean, I don't love everybody in terms of like, there's people in this hobby that I'm not that fond of, but I'm still going to stand next to them on this issue because it's the right thing to do. Period.
Yeah,
And but I'm also not going to join them when, like she said, they're slinging mud or any other offensive substance. I'm not going to do that. But I'm not going to do something that I feel is wrong and I feel is harmful to this hobby just to get under someone's skin. So Stardust, and I feel this way too. Stardust says, if the copying weren't an issue, and let's say sculptors gave rights to have less quality replicas made, I wouldn't personally be interested. They look like dolls. I want a real baby. Yeah, I mean, it's not the same.
yeah,
And if you're okay with that, if that's it, because like I said, I have Oh Baby from Paradise, and it's really, really cute. I don't I don't mind the Paradise Gallery's dolls, but if you don't want an artist made reborn, a handmade reborn painted by a reborn artist, and you're okay with a factory made doll, then it doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't just buy one from Paradise or Ashton Drake.
right. Yeah, the Paradise Gallery ones, they're really cute. Like when you go on the site and stuff, I've seen Oh Baby that Lexi has, and it's so cute. I cannot wait to get that baby. Like I'm definitely getting that one because it's so cute.
I forget that she's a Paradise Galleries when I have her. If I'm not right up in her face, like taking a photo or changing her or something, I forget that she's not just like all my, regular reborn dolls. I forget that she's a factory made doll because she is really cute. I mean, Ping Lao is really talented.
Oh
A
yeah.
lot of that is just the sculpt is fabulous. She's got chubby little feet and chubby little fingers, and she's just amazing. I keep saying she because mine's a she. It's presented as a boy on the site, but so cute.
Yeah, I think when I went on there and I've had it in the cart several times, and I think it was like 114, and the shipping was free.
Yeah.
So you're getting, you know, a really good doll for $114.
Sam says, not everyone who buys one of these dolls is a community member or wants to be one. They don't know what's going on and therefore don't care or know to care. I don't think this will go away. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that there's the reborn community and then there's the larger doll community and people that are just doll collectors. I don't think they either know or if they know, they don't care.
Yeah. Well, but look at the Base Spanos ones that we have.
Oh, I love
They are
those.
so cute. And there are some that on eBay that are really a good price. Yeah, it was 114. He was 114 when I went like to the checkout part.
I think there's always going to be people that one buy them because they're doll collectors and they don't care, and there's always going to be people that maybe will eventually become reborn collectors and only collect legit, but have discovered the hobby or come into the hobby through one of these, Amazon or Wish dolls. If they happen to get a good one, it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
People outside the hobby will still buy them. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, if you do the Paradise Gallery, the shipping's free over, isn't it like $79, something like that?
I think so. Yeah.
They have and it's 4 to 7 days, I believe, and then they have like a standard shipping. I think it's $15, but that's it, and you're getting a really cute Ping Lao.
Right.
Like you can't beat that.
And no grief.
That's right. Yeah.
I need to grab Zeus 1 minute. My dog. Be right back.
Okay. I plan on getting oh baby though. I definitely want to get that one. There's so many on reborns.com, and I'm just like, I want that one and that one and that one. Some really cute ones on there. Hand painted art, it's truly an art piece. Yes. I am more of a reborn mom than a collector. I think I have some things like my Yoda and my Ewok and you know that I have, but I'm more of a reborn mom. So I look at the babies a little bit different, but as far as it's not on a collector's, it's more of my connection with the baby. Yeah, I have some that I can take out too, and I've even been like joking around. I've been like, oh yeah, like yeah, he just sleeps really good, and they totally, they'll buy it, and then I'll be like, no, it's just a doll. But most of the time, nobody ever really says anything. Yeah, I'm a reborn mom, and I think I don't know. It's about my bond with them, but I support the sculptors because if it wasn't for them, like Elizabeth that I had on a little bit ago. I wouldn't have her if it wasn't, that the sculptor sculpted her.
Well, and who knows what else we won't have if some of these sculptors leave.
That's right.
If they decide, because like I said, it's art is an emotional thing, and if they aren't able to sculpt anymore, not because there's some physical, you know, disabling, but like mental, they aren't able to like focus and they aren't able to get back in the mindset to sculpt, then they're not going to be able to. It may not even be a choice. And I think people don't understand that.
Right. And see, that's what I'm afraid of is they're going to be like, oh, they're just going to get so discouraged with all this, that we're not going to have new sculpts.
I watched some of like, I think the Maddie is a fairly popular one. I know Levi is a very popular one that's sold on Wish and Amazon, but I keep seeing the Maddie. And I watch that and I think, like, how would I feel if that was my sculpt? It would be upsetting. Stardust says, I don't see anyone changing their view to this side that is screaming and threatening. Yeah, I don't either. It's a problem. I mean, there's problems on both sides of this. And like I said, it's become this very personal issue when it's really not.
Right. And conversations like this can, it's nothing personal.
Sam says, I also think that the people who pay these outrageous prices for these dolls have some fault, as do the artists who attach those price tags. It makes it an attractive market for companies to partake. Yeah, I have a personal limit of 1,000. I won't spend more than 1,000 on a reborn. Silicone is a different story, but even then, I'm not going to spend $3, $4, $5,000 on a reborn.
Yeah, there's some on reborns.com that I saw and I was like, oh, no way. No way. No, I wouldn't pay that.
There are some artists in this community that I have had several of their dolls. I won't mention anyone's name. But there are some artists where I'm like, I don't really know that your work is worth $1,400. You know what I mean? Stacy says, it's easy to lose passion when it comes to art and having the right mindset to produce something of quality. Yeah. Lighthearted said, it should never be personal. Individuals shouldn't be attacked. That doesn't help anything.
That's right.
Stardust says, I can agree with that. I'm an artist and I can't justify some prices artists are charging. Yeah. And I think there's an aspect, Sam and I were talking about this, there's an aspect of, they want to be like whatever collector they see on YouTube. And they see that they have a Maddie or they see that they have a Tobiah or whatever, and they don't have thousands of dollars to spend, so
My vinyl baby better poop and blink its eyes for that price. Okay. You're
I
so
like the fact that they don't do any of that.
right. Exactly. That's what makes them perfect children for us reborn moms.
Sam's channel says, what's the most expensive reborn any of you have seen a doll go for? I'm trying to think of reborn not silicone.
I've seen a reborn for $1,200.
I've seen him higher than that. I've seen him up 3,500, 5K. I mean, that's a car. You know what I'm saying? It's fine if that's how people want to spend their money, I guess, but it's a crazy amount of money.
Lighthearted. Education is helpful. As we said, tell who your artist is. That's right. The more you share, like, the more people are going to know. And the artist.
I've seen a vinyl go for $29.99.
What?
Prototype toddler for over 5,000. I've seen them in the thousands. Yeah.
Wow. Saw a prototype toddler for 5,000. I've seen them in the thousands. My favorite silicone artist right now. She has affordable prices. Also, baby has adorable silicones for affordable prices.
I have 2 silicones that were 4,000. I hate myself.
We're really good.
Sam said, see, that's insane to me. That's a down payment on a car or a home. Yeah. Yeah.
Stacey, you're right. We never get what we paid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
They lose their value. Yep, they do. They lose their value over time. Well, and what's going to happen when the people that are buying fakes want to sell them?
Going to be harder to do. Yeah.
You know, you're going to be pretty limited on who's going to buy those. I have 2 silicones that were $4,000. I hate myself. Yeah, it is a down payment on a car or home. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Busted my butt paying dollars to afford them, but still.
Sam says, or a new transmission.
Right. Yeah, it is. I figure when I don't pay anywhere near that for my babies. My silicone's probably been my most expensive, personally. I haven't paid more than $675 for a reborn. This is the most expensive I've paid.
The most expensive I think I've paid for a reborn was just over 1,000, but it was because it was shipping from a different country. So the actual price was less than 1,000, but the shipping tipped it over. And then I think I paid, I'm not certain. I think I paid 3,500 for my dragon, which is a silicone. I think. But I paid that, in many months of payments. And yeah, Sam said I just had to have mine replaced. Her transmission, 4,000. This big money, man.
Susie, the most I've paid, $2,600 to silicone, and I feel stupid now.
Yeah.
As well, and that's to be expected. Yeah. The 2 that the first one that I had was my very first one. I was under 1,000.
Teardrop Rose says even COAs are not foolproof. People can replicate those as well, and some don't come with them. Yeah. See, I was telling you that earlier, right, Teresa?
Yeah.
They're faking the COAs now. So I think that's why some artists are like, well, forget it then. Like what? I know they were talking about stamping them a special way or embossing them some special way. And I just think, unfortunately, they're faking the dolls. They're going to be able to fake the COAs. It sucks because what sucks about it really, aside from everything else we've talked about, is now these are going to flood the market and it's going to be hard. If God forbid you lose a COA, that's going to be difficult if you have a legit kit. And sorting out, do I take a chance on buying this? This person's saying it's legit. What if it's not? Maybe it is legit and they lost the COA and now they're selling it for a really good price. It's going to be really hard to tell what's going on anymore. Because the ones that do look fairly decent that come from Wish or wherever, I think they're 3D scanning them now. So they're not even, the way you used to be able to tell is they would use the actual kit as a mold so that they could make more. And so they'd be smaller. The fakes would be smaller than the legit ones. But now that they're 3D scanning stuff, which is how I assume they're doing it, they look exactly the same. So they've got, in some cases, like the stamp on the back of the neck, all that. It's a lot harder to tell now. And if they're faking COAs, I've seen Joanna K get 10K for a vinyl. Woo! I'm gonna buy a new Jeep. Lighthearted says Kylo was my most expensive baby, and I paid him off over 8 months. It was like a real pregnancy. That's how my silicone was, man. It's a lot of money. Stacy's Rainbow Nursery says, I had a woman yesterday buy a robin asleep for my personal collection, and she texted me right back and said, I see it has no COA. I want a refund if you don't have it. Luckily, I found it. Yeah. Well, and some of these don't have COAs. Like a lot of the Bountiful Baby kits, early 2010, 11, 12, 13, 2014, they don't have anything. They don't come with anything. Stardust and Moonlight says, and it gets muddy because if you buy a doll you were told was legit and then you sell it under that premise, but the new buyer discovers it's not and bashes your reputation and gets a refund, a mess. Yeah. This, like I said, has the potential to be a real muddy waters here for people that are trying hard to stay on the right side of the road and buy legit and sell legit.
That's why education is so important.
I've got all my COAs in a little like box, those fancy boxes from Michael's, with the little latch on it, the patterns on the outside. And that thing is like filling up, and every time I put a new one in, I'm like, what if I lost this? Because I'm getting ready to do a big move to another state, and like, what if I lost this little box of all my COAs? Lighthearted said, these days, if the sculpt doesn't come with a COA, you can ask for proof of purchase from the vendor. Yeah. It's going to come down to that, I think. And some of these older dolls never had them. But you've got new people in the community who, again, they're trying to stay on the right side of things, and they'll demand a COA. I've seen an argument happen on Facebook where the woman was demanding a COA for a kit that never had one. There never was a COA. And like I said, I've got a lot of those in my collection too, because they're early Bountiful Baby or whatever. Orion, which is my alien that was made from the Kamiko sculpt, which is gone now. He was made by Stephanie and Love with Reborns way back in the day. He doesn't have a COA. A lot of those early dolls from my collection don't have one. They don't have anything. We've got buyers that are used to seeing a COA and they don't see one. I've had to explain to people, and Ems has had to explain to people, not every kit comes with a COA, even now. But we've sort of trained new people, I think, to look out for that, and it's not always going to be the case.
Well, that's why I think, like with that I saw in Irresistibles, they're giving you their authentic, certificate. They at least need to do that.
Well, and McPherson's always does that. Like, if you can see on my Krampus box opening, I think is the most recent. There's the actual COA for the kit, and then there's a little thing for McPherson's that says you are buying a legitimate sculpt from, our company, blah, blah, blah. So it's like their guarantee, but it doesn't say anything about which one it is. So if somebody was trying to be shady, theoretically they could say, oh, I lost the regular COA, but here's this. It just, the water's muddy, man.
Well, and that's what's going to be important, to keep those just as much as the COA.
Lighthearted said, if you bought it straight from the sculptor, I'm sure the sculptor would be more than happy to vouch for their work. It could be as easy as an email. See, but didn't you contact the silicone that I sold you? The squish?
Yes.
Who was the artist there? I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
I think you did. You contacted them.
I contacted her through Instagram. You can see the doll on her Instagram, but I thought you had contacted her and she said, yeah, that's my sculpt. And you were like, but do you have a COA? Because I
Oh,
didn't have one. I got her, I was
right.
like the third mommy, whatever. So I didn't have a COA.
Yeah, I did. Now that you said that,
And she was like, yep, it's mine.
they didn't
You're
have
like, so
any.
can I get something to prove that? You know?
Yeah, there was nothing for her. She didn't have anything to give me.
Yeah.
All I could do is, produce the conversation.
Well, I think sculptors, maybe if you bought straight from the sculptor, they might be able to help you out. But as far as the vinyl kits, if you don't have the COA and it originally came with one, you're screwed.
Yep, I'm just gonna have to keep everything. Cover your butt.
Like I said, I hope I don't ever lose my little box.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. His reborning artist dog shredded it. Yikes.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's crazy.
It's a huge mess. It's a huge mess from a lot of directions. And I think that fighting with each other isn't helping any of that. My artist took a picture of it shredded on her counter. Yeah.
I guess that's something.
That's sad business, man.
Like, tape that thing together.
I think Sam's right. I don't think it's ever going to go away. I think it's part of every industry and product that's out there. I mean, in China, there's entire Apple stores that are fake. The entire store and all the products in it, fake Apple. It's insane. But it is part of, I think, doing business, unfortunately. But that doesn't also mean that we can't do everything we can do, from not buying stuff like that to also spreading the word about it. I mean, is it ever going to be completely, totally gone? No, but I don't think total eradication is necessarily the goal. I think education is or should be the goal, and getting people to see how it's harmful and why it's harmful.
But I do think it's the new normal.
You think fakes are the new normal?
No, I think proving, making sure that we have the documentation of legit, authentic.
Yeah.
Because I think before it wasn't that big of a deal, but now it is, and I think it's going to be the new normal.
Yeah. Well, this is 2 hours here. Should we call it a night?
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody that showed up and talked and told funny stories.
Yeah, you guys were cracking me up over here.
Hearing about what the struggle of reborning back in the day was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know that.
I like that we were able to have a nice discussion about a hot topic.
Yeah.
That's I like when they're like that, and it's not a bunch of arguing, and because it doesn't need to be that.
I agree. Yeah. Good night, Stacy.
Good night, Stacy.
Much.
Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate you.
It was fun. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.